Well, greetings. I'm Pastor Milton Wren Jr., and this is your Midday Motivation. Such an honor to be able to come into your homes, your jobs, inside of your cubicles, your vehicles, wherever you may be, just to give you your kingdom nugget. In Proverbs 14 and 12, it says, "There is a way that seemeth right unto man, but the end are the ways of death." And I want to talk just for a moment about kingdom alignment. 2020 vision, seeing things the way God sees them. Whether we know it or not, God is a God of order. And everything he does in divine order. Nothing that God does is done by happenstance, but he's strategic. He's a planner, and he does things in divine order. Think about this. God created the water, and then he created the fish. He created the grass, and then he created the animals. God always creates things with what he has in mind after that. He's a God of order. And I say that because if Proverbs is correct, and I believe it is, it says there is a way that seemeth right, then there must be a way that is wrong, and or there's a way that is right. If man can follow a path that seems right, but it ends up in destruction, then certainly there's a way that we can follow that ends up in life. And I believe when we line our vision up with God's vision, that's called kingdom alignment. And we can see things as God sees them. Listen at this. In Genesis 2:18, the Bible says it's not good that man should be alone. Let us make him a helpmeet. Think about this. Before Eve, God brought the animals to Adam, so that Adam could name them. In naming them, he takes authority over them. But here is kingdom alignment. Here is having 2020 vision, being able to see what God says. Although Adam is placed with the responsibility of naming the animals, he also has to be able to discern, see it the way God sees it, so that he doesn't pick the wrong thing as his mate. Let me say that again. He has to see what God sees, so that he doesn't make the mistake of picking the wrong thing as his mate. God did not tell him that the animals couldn't be there for it. God didn't tell him that the grass wasn't there for it. He simply brought the animals, and it was up to Adam to name them. In naming them in the Hebrew, you take authority over that. And so it is, after naming them, here is kingdom alignment, being able to see what God brought to us and being able to recognize what's for me, to be compatible with me, and what's there to be a blessing to me. Listen at this. Isaiah 55:8 says, "For my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither my ways your ways." God says there is a way to think kingdom-minded. There is a way to think on a different level. And whenever Jesus taught in the Gospels, he always taught how to tap into kingdom protocol. Listen at this. Kingdom protocol through earthly things. The lost coin shows us how God searches. The lost sheep shows us how God cares. And then the lost son shows us how God waits. And I want to say this to us. Kingdom alignment is being able to see things the way God sees them. The one who has the talent shows us that God is the one who judges. And the simple order of God is what keeps us in that divine kingdom alignment. There are some things that you and I can do that can cause us to be out of order and also cause our vision to be blurred if we don't follow God's command. I want to encourage you. Kingdom alignment is seeing things the way God sees them. How do you see your life? How do you see your health? How do you see your relationships? How do you see your finances? How you see them is ultimately going to be determined by what's on the inside and who's steering your ship. Kingdom alignment means I bring my vision into focus with what God's vision is. And Adam had to do that. He knew that the animals were not for him. But in order to know that, he had to know what God created was for him. And that was Eve. Kingdom alignment is this, 2020 vision. And in the year of 2020, I want to say to you, be encouraged. Whatever God placed on your heart, it's still going to come to pass. I love you. Let's keep building.